So welcome everybody to Universal Grounding. It's a beautiful, beautiful Wednesday in September. And just take a moment to notice the sacred space around us. It is a resonant space filled with luminosity and also filled with divine beings. We did this session yesterday and they kept telling me we had more than normal. And, my ego says I don't want to count. And we had 1,000,000 or more that were joining us because we needed these little minion type divinities because we were working in the cellular, molecular way in the physical body yesterday. So I hesitate to say how many are there. There's legions of them. I know immediately there's 1,000 divine mother beings because I was told that. There's 1,000 divine mother beings with us in supporting this group healing. There is, of course, Mother Earth. There's master healers. It's divine consciousness, divine intelligence, and that's why I refer to it as source, because any deity name is a certain expression, meaning it has certain qualities attributed to that name that is pulling from this great mystery, right? And this great mystery is the original source of all these deities and all these divine beings. And so that's what I'm calling. And I might say they, it's source. And so let's just take a moment and just notice what's around us. And we also have Angel Jophiel. Angel Jophiel is the angel of illuminating beauty within. She has been with me for many, many years, helping me on this journey, especially through dark times when, hey, I wouldn't have wanted an angel. And so she didn't show up as an angel. She just showed up as an imaginary friend. And at one point, she kind of showed herself as like Dobby, the earth elf. But it was the angel Jophiel to illuminate beauty within. So let's take a moment and welcome her into your system. She's coming in through your crown, settling into your heart and spine on the count of 3, 2, 1. And to me, the angel Jophiel feels just like home. And to physicalize that sense of home, we're going to take a moment and chant the sound of Om 3 times. We do this with our breath. So we're taking a deep breath in, chanting the sound of Om. On the out breath, and so first breath in, second breath in, and the third breath in. So just taking a moment. So notice how that brings a level of stillness, but there's certain kind of buzz in this group healing right now. So I'm going to take a moment and let Source just clear out that buzz. And it could be coming from lots of different things. Sometimes when we spend too much time online or with screens, or we may have busy careers that keep us going. So there's kind of a buzz. in this group field right now. There we go. So you see how bringing your attention to something activates a response? That's how Trinity works. Trinity is pure intention. So we're going to take that intention now, lean back into it, and intend for universal grounding for what this group needs right now. This group is unique, unique from the last one, unique from the first one. Oh, okay. So that's why we had this buzz. So we're going to work on, I'm sure I'll come up with a better name now. Grounding through, it's not chaos, but you know how, I don't know how old all of you are, but do you remember the old TV sets where you had the feedback? You know, channels would go off the air at 12 o'clock. There were only a couple, and it would go off the air at 12 o'clock, and you wouldn't have any more broadcasting. You'd have like just this shh, you know, this feedback noise. It's kind of what it feels like in our group field right now. And our group field is indicative of what's going on in collective consciousness. And collective consciousness has probably a lot of that, again, from digital media, from AI, from screen time, from a culture that is really about doing rather than being. You know, go, 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 go. So this seems like it's going to be grounding through interference. There we go. Thank you. Now, interference can mean all sorts of things. Interference can be, again, your lifestyle choices. You may have a really busy job and you may think that job is really important, but you know, we all know the important things in a universal way is about balance. Our culture in the United States and in other places around the world, but not everywhere, is one about working, working, working. The Japan culture has that too. Very patriarchal, very hierarchical about, you know, consumer society, very industrial revolution. The more things you have, the bigger house. And the jobs are not about quality of life, it's about productivity. So that can be an interference in being universally grounded, because universally grounding is all about balance, right? Coming back to that flow, that equilibrium where, you know, your life isn't about any one thing. It's about just um, awareness, understanding the world about you, understanding your place in the world, and creating a lifestyle where you're giving as much as you're receiving. So the first thing we're going to do, and so sometimes when we do this, it asks questions for awareness. Because again, a universal grounding is having a broader awareness of your life so that you can make different choices if you need to, notice your patterns, what is and isn't in relationship to your life and the world around you, because the world actually is in relationship with you, you just don't realize it. So the question is, what is the interference in your life right now. Now, when I say that from a collective perspective, we could point to probably 2 or 3 really big things. In this country, we have political conflict that creates a lot of division, which can be seen as interfering with harmony, right? We can point to this thing called climate change, where scientists are saying one thing, other people are saying another, and there is this huge interference about really listening to what the earth is showing us on a daily basis. We could look at health crisis and this pandemic that we had a couple years ago that shut everything down and again created another big controversy, and all this immune system response that is out of balance with health and wellness. So those are 3 big interfering factors that I can just think of that may be in play. So this grounding through interference is pretty dang important, the big things, but also in any little thing that's coming up. Just going to take a moment. We already cleared the general interference. We're going to go a little bit deeper. There we go. Okay. So I want you to put your awareness on your grounding cord. Your grounding cord is at the base of your spine. And we all have grounding cords, again, whether you know about it or not. That is calibrated to the time you came onto the planet. And so we want to update and upgrade them. Even if you had this done before, the nature of the planet frequencies changes daily, moment to moment actually. But there's some of you who haven't had it at all. So I'm just going to take a moment and upgrade your grounding cords. Something more high frequency. Those of you who have apps, this is like a, application update. There we go. So now put your awareness again back now into your grounding cords. And what I want you to do is just imagine that it's stretching down below the chair, the couch, the bed, the floor you're sitting on, down through the sub-basement of the building or the house, into the topsoil, stretching all the way into the various geological layers of the earth, the soil, the crushed rock, the granite, maybe a water table, and all the way into the molten core. We're connecting with the heart of Gaia. And you're plugging into her like you're plugging into an umbilical cord. And there's a few of you that this is actually really uncomfortable. It's okay. I'm just going to take a moment. Because when you plug into Gaia, there might be a part of you that is afraid of that, maybe even subconsciously. There you go. And so we want to receive, oh, it's the interference. That's funny. I love how you can hear me in real time figure things out. I'm in this session with you. I'm just a play-by-play announcer. There's not any of me doing this. I'm a conduit for this to be happening, and using my system to figure out what's going on. So yeah, there's interference in connecting. So we're going to connect as best we can. There we go. And I want you to bring this energy slowly up. we're gonna stay at the what's called the universal dimensional focal point, the center of the earth. And we're just going to clear out any interference from deeply connecting to the earth. And again, that interference could be anything. It could be a past lifetime where maybe you were, this is just bringing up a story, it doesn't apply to anyone specifically. Maybe you were a witch doctor or something, or you cast spells with the earth that was incongruous or discordant or dissonant to your relationship with the earth. And so connecting to the earth seems, on some level, there's some interference there. Because what multidimensional healing does is it works on the repressed, unhealed, unprocessed emotions. Because remember, everything is vibration. Our thoughts are vibrations. And when we have thoughts, they trigger an emotional reaction in us. And if these emotional reactions aren't healed, which a lot of time, over the course of history, we have these trauma wounds that we just repress and oppress and for lifetimes, and then that's how we get hardened psychopath narcissists. It's just they've got unhealed wound after unhealed wound after unhealed wound, and here they are walking around in this lifetime numbed out. To me, mental illness is just unhealed wounds. Shamanism looks at that too. Looks at it from a different perspective. So we're at the center of the earth. We're healing any interference from connecting. Interesting. Every time I do one of these things, it's different. And what's at the center of the earth? Yeah. Hatred. So, you personally may love the earth, but what we're in karmic history. Remember when I was doing the talk ahead of time when I talked about how, Descartes and Bacon and Newton and the theologians and all anthropologists and all these people position the earth as something to dominate, something it's a deadened being. It's not this alive, relational, animated mother that is a part of our bodies and hearts and souls and spirit. And so there's that kind of energy in connecting with the earth that we're bumping into. Yes, it's toxic masculinity. You've had many lives. Perhaps you're one of those toxic males in a past life. So there is some anger connecting to the earth that has to do probably with the history where the Industrial Revolution came in and all these leaders positioned the planet as something to dominate, something to harvest, something to gain all the elements out of and mine and use for, power and to own. Who thought up the idea of even owning land and separating it off by countries? The earth says, no, I'm one big giant globe. We're one big giant family. So all these things are in the center of the earth right now. It's interfering with balance, with wholeness. Yep, so this can be said, restoring, I don't know if it's balance or wholeness, through transforming interference. And interference in this case is a lot of emotional baggage. A lot. There we go. Luckily, we have a lot of help. And the Divine Mothers, Master Healers. Thank you. Goddess Durga, Goddess Kali. I work with a lot of goddess energy because, again, part of the palette of care that I have is Devi, Earth Magic. Devi is the female name of the divine in Hindu tradition. So Indo-American, uh, anyway, yeah. So we're still in the center of the earth, and this disconnect is derived from not being seen as alive, as animate, as being treated as dead, as something to mine, something to harvest, something to exploit and dominate. There we go. And that's the interference of coming back into balance, coming back into wholeness. There we go. So now we work on focal points, and we work from the center of the earth on up. So we're going to come into what's called the earth star, and that's your subroot first chakra, right about a couple of feet below your feet. It's how you feel grounded. And we're going to bump into the interference there. Yeah, more of that domination, more of that exploitive nature that sees the planet and everything on her, by the way. So when I'm talking about earth, it's not just nature, because it's human nature too. So when I say dominating and exploiting, that includes humans exploiting other humans. And we know that's going on right now. So interference could be seen as human exploitation, not just earth exploitation, because nature is everything on the planet. All organisms, all sentient and non-sentient life. Yeah, so there's some explorative, dominating energy. Yep, now I see exactly why we're working where we're working for the next couple of months. Everything is connected. When I first started doing these sessions, and there's some people on here who were with me in the very, very beginning, some of the early sessions we did laid the foundation for what we're doing now. And it was a beautiful process how it evolved. Now it's still evolving. There we go. This one's a little heavier than July and August. That's okay. Subroot first. Yeah, we spent more time at the center of the earth, or the universal dimensional focal point, which then makes it a little bit easier for these other focal points to move. There we go. So it's lightening up. Coming into the root chakra now. Your root chakra is at the base of your spine, right around your coccyx, your pelvic girdle. Ooh. And here there's a lot of old pain, a lot of old wounds, a lot of trauma, unresolved trauma for some of you. Again, we have legions of divine holding space for all this movement, all this shifts, all this transformation, transmutation, transfiguration, alchemization. There's so much going on. Depending on what's needed, where it's needed, how it's needed. Ooh. A couple of you are carrying big loads of survival trauma there. There we go. And now we're in a space of numbness. Numbness is an interference because it just doesn't know how to act, and numbness comes directly from overstimulation, understimulation. There we go. Putting all kinds of structures in now. Structures are like little droplets, little seeds that will continue to grow. And again, everything is intentional, so they're working on dissolving, just deconstructing, transforming, remanifesting the issue of interference in the way of really experiencing your wholeness. And we face interference on the daily. Even those of you who are very advanced, you'll bump into interference. You call them triggers, but basically it's interference. What is interfering? What's out of balance? What's out of what's not in relationship? What's out of your awareness? Typically, we have a lot of blind spots. So you'll be on your deathbed and you'll have something come into your awareness, and you'll be like, "Oh, yes, that." Because we're multidimensional. We've had many lifetimes, and there's a lot of things that we don't know. So the best thing to know is to know that you don't know. Be very humble about it. I think that's why Source has things just pop up for me, so it can just test my ability just to surrender and listen. Many years of training in that. Many years, too many to count. Okay, more coming out of the room. There we go. So this is something that's designed that you can play it again, and you'll get more movement second time around. Sometimes things get need to settle before you can even have more movement, especially something as big as this. In fact, this is something that you could probably play once a week for the rest of your life, as a human being, because it's a broad term of interference. Say you're in the midst of a situation that you don't know how to control. This would be a good tool to play, because it's going to clear the way of what interference is, so that you can ground, you can be more in your body, you can be more present, you can have a greater awareness of who you are in the natural order of things. The natural order of things is the bigger picture. It's not that that lane that you feel you have to stay in. There we go. Beautiful. Now coming into the sacral chakra. And again, these are focal points. We're not just staying in the chakra. Your energetic system is actually quite complex. We're just using them as areas to focus on as we clear the system of this pattern to make way for universal grounding through interference. Ooh, sacral chakra had a lot of that disconnect in it. Think of it like an emotional backup, And if you have been constipated, it's emotional constipation. Whew, we're gonna have to loosen this one up. Yeah, there's a process of enduring in your sacral chakra. Like, as a human being, I wake up every day, what's next? What's next? What's next? Like, I have to endure this interference. Like, what's the next fire you're going to put out? What's the next fire put out? How many of you can raise your hand and saying, I'm living a life of balance right now and sustain it? That's the challenge, right? To embody something is to learn how to live your truth. And again, that's a lifetime process. Because once you think, Adyashanti says, once you think you're awake, go live with your parents for a while. That'll challenge your, there's going to be triggers coming up there. There's a nice breakthrough. Yeah, there was just heavy, constricted energy in the sacral chakra. So what I'm going to do is just put in these stop and unravel structures that will work over time, and something called evolutionary structures that do exactly that. They rift in new timelines, and they just keep working in the background. They won't get in the way. There we go. That lightened it up. So it pokes holes in all that density. And what's in your sacral chakra again is all that emotional backlog of life just isn't one is, and nothing against men, but women, when is your plate ever empty? When do you have the luxury of just living a quiet, simple life? How many of us want to just go, even when we're retired or we think we're retired, and can just go sit on a beach and live in a log cabin on a lake somewhere? No, we have to have this, we have to have that, this lifestyle, that insurance, this income, that, you know, uh, groceries, whatever. So life has a lot of interference on the daily. And that's just the little stuff. Again, we're tackling the broad spectrum. What is interfering with you living a life of wholeness? Wholeness, broad term, balance, harmony, happiness. Okay, you have to move along. Again, if you go back and play, you might want to pause and let that work a little bit longer. But there's enough movement there to. There we go. Now coming into the solar plexus. Your solar plexus is a couple inches above your belly button. Oh, there's fear there. So this interference in your third chakra is very much fear-based. Trinity works on a network, looking at issues like interference. Interference is really a broad-based issue anyway, and so it's looking at generally like this networked, entangled, like like a rope is made up. I use this metaphor over and over again. A rope is made up of twine tightly wound together, and then those pieces of twine are made into a thicker and thicker rope, and that's how our issues are intertwined with us. So that's why replaying this you'll have another piece of twine unravel. And in your third chakra, there's fear-based twines unraveling. There we go. And a sense of enduring. Oh, taking a little side trip to your kidneys now. There we go, lightening up. Keep putting structures and everything. Again, it's like poking holes in the density. Beautiful. So this becomes a utilitarian energy session, again, that you can replay anytime that you have interference in your life of any kind, and this will run through your run through your energy system based on your chakra focal points and just clear out what that interference is. Beautiful. Love when I create utilitarian, or Source creates utilitarian, functionary sessions for us. Here we go. That says, open as it's going to be. Now coming into the heart center. Ooh, and there's a lot there. There's the trauma, there's the fear, there's the grief, there's the shutdown, there's the numbness, there's one big knot of interference. Ooh, there was a lot in the heart. Because we started from the center of the earth on up, it's collapsing pretty quickly. I'm still going to put structures in there. Ooh, so what's in the heart for this interference has to do with mistrusting um, as an interference, emotional attachment. So do you see how many angles source is navigating for you. Betty over here couldn't have done it. Source is navigating through this for you, just acting as a concierge, as a play-by-play announcer. Ooh, hold on, some stuck energy in the heart. Going into the back of the heart now. There we go. Okay. Again, this is designed to be replayed, so we'll clear as much as possible. And I'm adding something every now and then called awakening structures. This is high-level Trinity stuff. Awakening structures do exactly that. When we're in these patterns of interference, where it keeps us from being whole, keeps us out of our awareness, keeps us from understanding, we can be said to be asleep. And we're stuck in these attachments and these positions and these beliefs. And so awakening says, hey, interference, you need to wake up. You're not that. You're supposed to be in wholeness. And it creates a shift, a movement. So these awakening structures are really powerful. There we go. Beautiful. Now coming into the throat. Oh, again, very constricted, dense energy here. Yeah, you can see why we're going to spend all month long on what's in your throat chakra. But again, we're just going to clear what's meant to be cleared in our time frame. A lot of oppression, a lot of repression, a lot of not being able to speak up for things, express your truth, express your disapproval, your discomfort. A lot of unexpressed screams there. Again, when working multidimensionally, it doesn't necessarily relate to this lifetime. It could be past life, could be incarnational history, definitely within the collective. And that's why this is so powerful. And that's why they're designed to be repeated, because when you repeat it, a different layer of that is going to be smoothed out and deconstructed and transformed. And the word of the day is remanifested. When we have something coming into form, it's manifesting into form. So we're remanifesting it. Beautiful amount of clearing here. As much as can be in the time allotted. A density, lightening up. Beautiful. And now focusing on the brow chakra and the crown, coming into the skull, the brain, the eyes, the ears, the sinuses, the throat, the jaw, the teeth, specific areas of the brain, the pituitary, the amygdala, the prefrontal cortex, the brain stem. Oof. Right now, there's a lot of talk about cognitive disabilities. Of course, there's cognitive disabilities with something called dementia as people age and Alzheimer's. There's also cognitive disabilities coming to people younger and younger now because of COVID, because of infections, because of things that are happening to the human body. So in the brain, just which can be seen as interference. There we go. Certain portion of people who have Alzheimer's, there's actually a subclinical virus in the brain that's the cause of it. We're going to call this the roto-rooter of energy sessions. What's another word for interference? Your pipes are plugged. Okay. Humor is actually a form of release. When you hear me making those out breaths, it's actually Shakti breathing, just adding to the Shakti that's helping with the release. I know it's not me doing it, but the Shakti is happening universally. Again, when you understand you're part of the universal order and everything's interconnected, and as like Cindy was saying before we even started, we're all connected. Even when we meet and afterwards, everything's interconnected. That's what the natural order of things is. It's that integrated dynamic that says nature, divine, humanity, we're all interconnected. But our society, our culture says, I don't think that's true. Here's science. That quantum thing, that's just a theory. We don't study that. Okay. So now we're just going to be doing some integration. Speaking of integrating in all space, all time, all realities, all dimensions, all realms, all fields. Physicalizing, catching up, integrating the whole entire energy system and all consciousness. There we go. Opening up the crown. And integrating any other interference left over. I can imagine. So I see why Source, because this is going to be public, this is for anyone to use, and I can see the wisdom of Source here, because coming up, things aren't going to get better on this lovely little globe hurtling through the universe and space. And because our culture isn't in balance, our culture is changing. We have high frequencies coming in that's shaking things up that are low frequency. We've got human nature that doesn't realize it's interconnected and we've got all these clashes of things going on. We've got digital media, we've got AI, we've got all these things clashing. So being able to ground through interference is a real valuable tool going forward. Some sessions are feel good, some sessions are balancing, some sessions are activations, some sessions bring in a reorientation alignment. This one, completely utilitarian. Integrating the brain consciousness, the nervous system, chakras, energy bodies, organs, the life field, cellular consciousness, cellular function, intelligence fields, luminous egg, and again, your entire energy system and all of consciousness. Here we go. Bring in some Deve therapy for any kind of psychological adjustment. Tends to lend clarity to that question we asked earlier. Psst, what is interfering in your life right now? What needs more attention, more awareness, more understanding, more exploration? So just taking the last few minutes and bringing in that sense of wholeness, that sense of balance. So notice, you don't even have to ground, you are the ground. Notice, you don't have to stretch up your divinity, you are divinity itself. So we might go a couple minutes longer, for those of you who are on a schedule. Just to bridge in and orient. This greater sense, this natural order. You are the ground. You are divine. You are not just a human. You are presence within this human body. That exercise was well worth it. There's a deepening sense. I believe the last session was belonging. There's a deepening sense of belonging, a deepening sense that you are so much more than this physicality. or this universal presence, belongs to itself. Angel Jophiel coming in and sprinkling little illuminating crystals, illuminating seeds, little sparks, little water droplets, wherever it's needed. To help illuminate any interference that may arise, to help your system meet the next interference with so much more ease and grace. It's a wonderful gift from the Angel Jophiel, illuminating beauty within. Because when you can lessen, because I don't think as a human being we're ever going to get rid of interference, because again, that's such a broad term that we can apply to so many different things in our life. What we learn to do is we learn to flow with it. We find more acceptance, more allowing, more understanding, more compassion. We gain this equilibrium that then looks through a lens differently. So these beautiful little crystals are crystals of awareness, droplets of flow, seeds of acceptance, to help you meet interference differently. Beautiful, beautiful gift. One of the more amazing gifts we've had. And now just bringing in love. Love to amplify, strengthen. Love to remind you the reason for balance, the reason for harmony, reason for existing. And love doesn't have to be human. You can fall in love with yourself, not in an egotistical way, just in a confident way, like authentically falling in love with yourself. You can fall in love with the air. That's that awe and wonder that kids have, giggling at the simplest little things. You can fall in love with sparkle, rainbows, not just beauty. What we learned in working through helplessness this past month is to fall in love with your vulnerability and to see it not as helpless, but as an opportunity to grow from. So bringing in love for whatever you most need. And of course, for me, love just gradually eases into gratitude. Thankful for our time together. Thank you for you showing up tonight. Thank you for you listening to this replay. Thank you to all the wonderful guides and divine expressions and intelligence that are helping us out here today. I never want to be named. A couple of them come through and they just kind of nudge me, but for the most part, Source is original mystery, of which you are one too. Trinity points you right back home to you. So gratitude for this time, allowing me to be a conduit, ending with a beautiful Sanskrit mantra, which is translated to mean, may we be led from untruth to truth, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. May there be peace and freedom on earth, and may we be conduits of that peace and freedom. Allow this to vibrationally move in, around, and through you. Om. Asatoma Sakamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Hamdram Gamaya, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu, Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu, Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Peace, peace, peace. May the peace of this beautiful expression of coming back into your beingness be more spread out to your loved ones, to your friends, to your family, to all the universe. Let it be asked and let it be done. So it is, so it is, so it is. So bring you up and out of the space of grace. Taking a deep breath. It is done. It is so. It is complete. Until next time, be blessed.